The Witching Hour, September 11th, 2025. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Cause you're beautiful, that's why. All right, so by the grace of God, I did pray in the witching hour. I started just a little bit before midnight. I did take two quick breaks. I had to go pee twice. And then I just finished praying a few minutes ago, and it's 3:18 a.m. right now. So praise His holy name for that. The Lord manifests more and more of His power and more of His presence. And as He does, He makes this program get weaker and weaker. Now it gets weaker and weaker like this. It still has its highs, but the general trajectory is downward. So sometimes it'll get harder, but the Lord makes it get weaker and weaker. As the Lord makes me to continue to obey Him, right? Obey Him in sacrificial tithes and offerings, which I always recommend you guys to do. Every time you get money, every time you get income, help the poor. Help the poor. World Vision, you can sponsor children in the third world and save whole families from starvation. God has mandated us to do this. And then prayer. The Lord has me praying to Him. My prayers today were 3 hours and... Oh, I didn't stop the doggone timer. So the timer's been running a few minutes past my prayers, but so maybe 3 hours and 7 minutes. So 10% of your day is 2 hours, 24 minutes, and that's what I always recommend, is that you beautiful folks spend at least 2 hours and 24 minutes a day with the Lord in prayer and or reading His Word, particularly for those who have not read through the Bible, at the very least once from Genesis to Revelation. Half of that time can be reading God's Word. But the Lord has me praying to Him, and one thing the Lord told me that I wasn't able to wrap my mind around, because it seemed sacrilegious, even though I knew it was coming from the Lord. The Lord told me, pray to me, to my spirit, to my presence that's within the targeting. Pray to the light that inhabits. By the way, this is not praying to a false god. God talks about graven image. Those are things that are made with the hand, so statues and stuff like that. This is more like Moses bowed down to pray to the burning bush. Why? Because the Spirit of God inhabited this burning bush. Moses was not praying to a bush. I'm not praying to the targeting. So I hope you guys don't think that, and you would pray and ask for guidance as to how seriously you should take me. Because I know God's working. I know this program would have destroyed me a long time ago if it wasn't for the Lord. Instead, my life's getting better and better. So what I'm supposed to do is pray to God as He inhabits all of the targeting. All of it, whether it's DEWs, they're hitting me directly in my body, fear vibrations, which can be all over the place, the upstairs neighbor. And slowly but surely, I'm just going to say slowly but surely, the Lord has been ushering me into obedience on this. And I do it by visualizing love, love, yes, but primarily light. And God is light. So visualizing His light inhabiting the targeting instead of visualizing the targeting or the vibrations or whatever. And the Lord keeps bringing me to new levels of this. Now, He's gracious. There's times where they'll be hitting me with like crazy fear vibrations. Just like not completely unreasonable. And sometimes the Lord will make it all appear like in my imagination as light and love, and it'll be just the words love. Everywhere there's some form of vibration or DEW, is just the words love written in light. The most beautiful love the most beautiful like thing you could ever imagine. This light, right? Not like a light bulb, but rather the light. God is light, so it is the presence of God Himself, and from that light emanates beauty and majesty, sovereignty, authority, glory, wisdom, righteousness. So it's not just like looking at a light, a regular light, or looking at the sun. The light of God is very much like infinitely beyond that. And so I was doing that today, and it's really difficult for me to focus on the word love. Like my mind really is not at this point able to hold onto that word just by force of will. So they'll hit me with these fear vibrations such a way, with like bursts of vibrations all over the place, chaotic and just random. And so it breaks me from thinking on the word love, because they can't stand me thinking on the word love. And so what I did was just meditated on the light of God's presence inhabiting it. That's one thing they can't do. No matter how random and how chaotic the targeting is, the light of God will occupy just about all of it at all times. They can't throw me off, because that's just it's the Lord's doing it. And sometimes the Lord will do it, and he'll make the light turn into the word love, and then that'll start vibrating. And either so what that does is that causes the targeting to die down almost to nothing, because the presence of God defeats all of the targeting and overwhelms their demons. So I was really focused on just the light of God, and his light was as I said, is so beautiful, incomprehensibly beautiful. And they kept it up and kept it up and kept it up. But like God's word says, if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. And so the presence of God caused them to flee. And so the targeting really, really died down. They hit me a couple good times in the throat. The Lord shielded me from that, so I wasn't coughing or choking. But I love to see the Lord, manifest more and more of his power, and to watch his program get weaker and weaker. And as the Lord empowers me to do my prayers, praying to him and praying to his presence within the targeting, just like I said, like Moses did with the burning bush, or like Job did. God appeared in a whirlwind, and Job prayed to God. He wasn't praying to a whirlwind, he was praying to God, because God took on that form. And this is the same thing. The Lord will take on the form of the targeting. And that's the only reason why the targeting doesn't harm me, because his presence doesn't let it. And like I've told you guys a million times, if you want to experience God this way, you've got to tithe your time to the Lord. You've got to spend 2 hours, 24 minutes a day in prayer and or reading his word. And you've got to start tithing your money to him, by helping the poor. You can give directly to the homeless. You can give that money to children in the third world and save people from starvation. But help and pay tithes and offerings. And so he takes authority over it. He defeats it. As he manifests more and more of his strength, the targeting becomes weaker and weaker. And it's absolutely wonderful. And I have this great hope that the Lord will bring me to a degree of obedience where he manifests himself so greatly that they will never be able to target me. This at times has happened even with the gang stalking, or the mobbing, where I'll be in a grocery shopping and a bunch of people will come around me, and I do my best to meditate on the light and love of God's presence. You guys, they will bump into each other. They will give each other an attitude. If they approach me, they'll almost, you can see terror on their face, and they'll look down to the ground. They will not look at me. And it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, the Spirit of God is here right now. He's almost turning them against each other. And it's just like, it is incredible to watch. But he will work in all of this if you tithe your time to him and you tithe your money to him. I send out my love to all y'all beautiful born again TIs. God bless.